Hello, I'm meteorologist Rob Kralmark, and I work here at ABC 10. Now, we're a local TV station based in Northern California. We roughly cover on TV this area, not necessarily the Bay Area proper, but roughly in this area. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's where a lot of my information and my focus is. But trust me, this is a big California story, and that's where I want to start. I want to start with where we were back at the end of September, just about to switch over to the brand new water year. Now, a water year in California is October 1st to September, the end of September the following year, because if you did it by the calendar year, you'd be cutting off our rainy season right when it's the busiest in December to January. So that's the way they do it around here, and these are how we compare apples to apples going forward. So as you're entering a new water year, you really don't know how the winter's going to play out, and this is where we were. The San Joaquin Valley, which is one of the top ag areas in the world, was a 5 out of 5 top-level drought. Now we fast forward to today, on this Thursday, and that entire area is 100% drought-free according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. Not only that, the only spot in California, and there's barely any left, are in the middle categories of drought. They're going to get hammered with rain. There's a ton of snowpack. The bottom line is when we look at this again next week, it's going to get better and better, and effectively about 80% of the state is either at no drought or very low-level drought, and we're seeing all sorts of things line up for a very active next 10 days. The jet stream has now linked up to very wet air, so you've got your area of low pressure, the whole Gulf of Alaska, really wet, warmer air, and guess where it's pointed? Right at California over the next 7 days or so. So ballpark, remember, I could get into every community and talk about inches or fractions of inches for snow, or for rain and for snow, but what's the point? The point is this: what we're in for Northern and Central California specifically, with a little bit sneaking into Southern California, at least near Santa Barbara, is a lot of water that's going to be pushing through. And remember the environment that it's getting pushed through. If you haven't seen images of places in and around Tahoe, this is what it looks like. This is near Truckee. This is right around 6,000 feet or so. You've got 7-8 feet of snow on top of roofs. They're trying to get that off. The time to do that is essentially over now. So you're going to have rain on snow in some of these communities with this warmer storm. Then you're going to be looking at water seeping in to the freshly plowed areas, and it's just going to be a water emergency along just with the sheer weight on the roofs. Then you go down low. This is the Cosumnes River. This is basically, I would say, upstream of places like Elk Grove in the middle of north central California. And what we're going to be looking at is everything's quiet, and then all that rain all at once at lower elevations gets you to low-level flood stage within about 24 hours. So for the valley areas locally, this is what everyone's going to be dealing with. Rapid changes, then a very steady rain by the middle of the day. It picks up with strong wind, heavy rain, and outages. And for the highest elevations, you're watching a rapid rise in snow level. In other words, snow is going to be falling above 8,000 feet by tonight, but everything below that's going to be all rain. It's going to melt some snow, not all of it, but some snow, especially for the lower elevations, and it just adds a lot of water all at once to creeks and streams, and then, like I showed you, ultimately some of the bigger rivers around here. This is your classic atmospheric river. This one we could, if we wanted to, nickname it a Pineapple Express because it's so warm, but this tends to have a lot of water all at once, and as things unfold, the secret sauce in all of this, at least locally, is a lot of wind. When we get rain and then we get wind, so we start to see some issues. Tree limbs come down. Sometimes the whole tree will come down with gusts in the valley up to 45 miles per hour. For some of the higher terrain, certainly by the mountains at the end of this, we're talking about 50 miles an hour. So this is just widespread wind issues. And some of this stuff is going to be happening in the middle of the night when people are sleeping. It's not a great time to lose power because when you wake up the next morning, all of a sudden you got to scramble. So my advice locally is for people to have a plan if they lose power in the middle of the night. In the Big Mountain backyard, which is locally, we're looking at rain moving in the middle of the day, and then it's going to start to move up the hill. Watch, this is amazing. Usually at night, it gets cold, right? And the snow level drops and fans out. Not with the case with this one, because it's going to start off as heavy, wet snow, and then it's going to start to move up, and it's going to be raining at 8,000 feet for several hours. Now, the focus here is going to be migrating around where the heaviest rain bands will be. It might be right in the middle, places like Sacramento, and then move to the south Friday morning and then come back. So that's still yet to be determined in all honesty. But the reality is what I showed you right off the top. This is a lot of water moving through part of Sunday. And then, and this is the problem, folks, Then starting on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, another wet storm and warm as well will start to move in. And then we may even have more after that. So the bottom line is that we're going to be dealing with a lot of rain. The snow situation above 7,500 feet, 8,000 feet is a lot of snow. There's not many communities there, but places like Mammoth, places like Kirkwood, places that are just established at a really high elevation, it might be mostly snow and a lot of it. Carson Pass, for example, is at right around 8,000 feet. That's the main way between South Lake Tahoe and Kirkwood. They're looking at, with just the first storm cycle, right around 100 inches of snow. And then at the back end, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, likely 4 to 5 feet more of snow. So this is going to be impressive for rain, snow, and wind. And it all begins today through part of the weekend and at least the beginning of next week.